3D printing is a method of additive manufacturing where an object is formed by applying successive layers of melted plastic. The object to be printed is created with computer-aided design software, often referred to as CAD. There are many CAD programs available, and they range in price from free to several $1,000s. Once the object is designed, it is saved as an STL or other file type that can be understood by 3D printing software. The STL, or stereolithography, file type is most common for desktop 3D printers. If you do not have access to CAD software, or just don't want to design an object yourself, you can download someone else's design from an online repository such as Thingiverse. Once you have an STL file to print, you need to use another type of software that can communicate 3D printing instructions to your 3D printer. Computer-aided manufacturing, or CAM, software is often referred to as slicing software because it separates the design into many different layers, or slices, which can be printed by a 3D printer one layer at a time. There are different slicing programs to choose from. Northwest Regional Library System is currently using Cura, which is free. The material used with this type of 3D printing is called filament, and there are many different types. Polylactic acid filament, usually referred to as PLA, is recommended for use in public libraries since it is biodegradable and does not emit an odor while printing. PLA also melts at a lower temperature than some other filaments, so it is a safer option. PLA is also a generally easier filament to work with. Filament is usually sold on spools, and there are many color options and 2 filament diameters available. The diameter of the filament used with Northwest Regional Library System 3D printers is 1.75 millimeter. When ordering filament, make sure you order 1.75 millimeter PLA. Filament costs vary greatly, so shop around. The filament spool should rest on the holder on top of the printer. The filament should roll off from the top of the spool and then through the space at the top of the frame down to the extruder. Straighten the filament as best you can. To insert the filament, depress the lever and push the filament into the upper opening of the hot end. Once the filament is seated, release the lever. When printing or extruding, the small gear turns and the teeth grab the filament and pull it down to the hot end, where it is melted and forced through the nozzle and onto the print bed. Please note, the part of the extruder with the red cover is the hot end, the place where the plastic is melted. When the printer is in use, it is very hot, usually around 210 degrees. Do not touch it. Printing an object one layer at a time takes time. There are many factors that determine the length of the print, including the size of the object, how solid or hollow it is, whether or not it requires support, and the level of detail in the design. Print times can vary from a few minutes to several hours or even days. This pendant, for example, took about 15 minutes to print. The total cost of printing an object depends on many factors, such as the amount and cost of the filament used, the amount of time it takes to print, energy consumption, and the wear and tear on the equipment. But if you're only interested in the cost of the filament used in a particular print, that is calculated for you within the Cura software. You can input the cost of the filament spool, and when you load a file to be printed, Cura will display the amount of filament to be used and the cost. Cura also displays the print time. This concludes the basics of 3D printing video. For more videos or information about 3D printing or the Scientist in Residence Grant Project, please visit the Northwest Regional Library System website. Thank you for watching.